Hello, Poacher South team. Randall coming here. It's March 5th, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And just wanted to come to you and go over a few things. There'll be some emails going out about this, but I want to give you a little more detail. I know some of you guys would rather hear it versus reading it. And so the podcast option offers you another way to gather this information. But anyway, last week, most of us were on a Zoom call with Daniel Park and Matt Powell with Renasant Bank, both of them based out of Atlanta, and our SBA lenders. We have closed several deals with Renasant, and Daniel and their group there has worked very well, and we've been very pleased. As I said in the Zoom call, their finance terms is not a fit for everybody. It's not a fit for every farm. But there is a sweet spot here that we're finding that their terms will work with, as far as farms with certain age houses on them, farms that are just kind of in that in-between income level, and then certain buyers. So we're kind of starting to learn how to mesh those things together and make this work. So I've spent most of the morning going through some of our listings that are really good quality listings that are going to need some assistance on finance terms to make them work, and to be able to possibly get into a different buyer group to get these farms sold. So what we're looking at here on the Renasant Bank, it is an SBA loan. So the requirement is 10% cash down payment up front. Most of the time, a 10% up to a 15% will work there. So we're going to kind of do a baseline of 10% on most of these, unless we don't think it's going to work at that, and then we'll look at it differently. They can offer up to 25-year terms, which is very much opposite of what we have been dealing with in the past with most of our lenders, like the Farm Credits, Banco ZK, Rabo, etc. So 25-year terms really changes the game here. The caveat and the catch on that is the interest rate will be prime plus 2%. So currently today, if Daniel quoted an interest rate, it would be 9.5%. So that is a higher interest rate than what we can get somewhere else for sure. But on certain farms, when you run the calculations on it, the longer term offsets the interest rate there. Also, that is not a locked down interest rate, so that rate can fluctuate every quarter. So as interest rates go down, this rate will go down as well. What I want to look at and discuss with you guys is how do we sell this to certain buyers, because there are buyers that we need to sell this to, and there's some we don't even need to mention it to. And there's going to be some farms here we'll talk about in just a minute that we'll go through, and they are farms that we need to look at for this type lending. But one thing that we need to keep in mind is, we're looking at buyers that probably have a certain amount of down payment, and they're not able to get into the farm that they want. With a traditional lender, looking at 10 to 15 year term, at a current 7% interest rate. So we need to educate that buyer that, number one, we're getting you into more farm with less down payment. Number two, the cash flow here is going to help offset some of that. So you're going to end up with more cash flow coming through. And as the market we're in right now, we expect interest rates to go down. So for the next at least 3 to 4 years, they should either stay the same or continue on the downward trend there. With an SBA loan, there is a penalty to come out of that loan for 3 years there. Daniel explained that in the Zoom call. The year one is a 5% penalty based on what's owed. Year two is 3%. Year three is 1%. So there is a penalty there. Once you get to year three, it's not that big a deal. So as long as they could hold this and operate the farm for 3 years, then they could go out and try to refinance this somewhere else at a more stable rate. They'll have built equity in the farm. They'll have experience. They'll have a better shot at going to another lender and being able to refinance this. Or they may choose to take the option and do the step-up program, and they'll have 3 years of tax returns there. They could step into another farm and cash this equity out. So there are some options there that are viable for them, and we can help with those either way they decide to go. But we're looking at this term as something that's a temporary, get your foot in the door type financing situation, where, hey, we've got this much money and we want this much farm. And so in the past, 10% has been kind of an ugly word for us as far as down payment. With this new option here, that may change a little bit. So we're going to change with the times here and make some considerations. So I'm going to make a list of these farms and send them out, but I have run some calculations on a few farms here that I think we can make work with this. And these are very loose and general terms here. But one farm would be the Luge Farm down in DeBock, Louisiana, which is a broiler farm, 8-house farm. Asking $1.25 million. That does have a site-built home on it. Gross income last year was $364,000. We think we can take a buyer with $125,000 and probably get into that farm. And the cash flow looks really good. They could probably end up with a farmer income around $50,000. Maybe it'll touch more depending on where expenses land. So that farm financed at 25 years really does well. So that gives you some ideas there. One thing I will go back and add, we're going to want these buyers to have some startup money. So they need to have, on a broiler farm, enough money to put shavings in there if they have to pay 1 to 2 months worth of power bills, to be able to buy some gas up front, pay some insurance up front, pay for feeder lids, pay for whatever, So depending on the size of the farm there, we need some cash up front to be able to do that with. Or if they've got a stream of income that they can just cash flow that with from off the farm income, that would work too. So, a buyer here on this farm, we'd probably want to see $145,000 to have $20,000 worth of startup capital, and then $125,000 for a down payment. Another farm down in Mississippi, Sugar Farm, 8-house farm there, different size houses there, 163,000 square foot. That farm is projected to do $476,000 in gross income. It's a really, really good income farm there. We think about $185,000 will be the down payment on that. They probably, again, need $20,000 to $25,000 worth of startup cash. This is a farm that will have to have some updates done. We're thinking $200,000 to $250,000. We've got some quotes on that. It's not quite that much, but we're expecting a few more things. But so that farm there, probably for about $1.75 million total, all in. $185,000 down, some startup cash. That farm is a really good cash flow farm. Tang broiler farm, again, South Mississippi near Wesson there, is a 7-house farm. Really well maintained farm. Potential income $395,000. Looking at about $150,000 down payment, about $20,000 startup cash, and have a really, really good cash flow on that farm. At the asking price we're at 1.45. That does include some equipment there, so that's another one that we need to look at. That one does have a dwelling as a double wide already, so we're in good shape there. King Broiler Farm now is a 7-house farm. If you look at the pictures on King, that is going to be showing 8 houses, but we did have a fire. We lost one of those houses, so it's a 7-house farm now. Cash flow projections about $380,000. If you look at it on the Renasant cash flow on the terms, about $175,000 down. Adding a dwelling there at about $100,000, and you've got a good cash flow. That farm will cash flow out well, and is in good shape there. RNC Farm up in northwest Georgia there near the town of Lafayette. 6-house farm. These are a little bit newer. Really good, well-maintained farm. Has had things like drinkers recently put in it. Cooked foods. Actually, this farm we found out last week did number one on their last flock. Had low mortality, high weights, and did really good. Projected income on that farm about $337,000. About a $200,000 down payment. We would need to add a dwelling there, but a little startup cash, probably $20,000 startup cash there, gets you into a good position there. Crossroads Farm, South Alabama, down near Abbeville, Alabama. 12-house farm. Some of those are 1996 builds. Some of them are 2006 builds. Tyson is the integrator there. $550,000 projected income. We think a $250,000 down payment will get you in the door. We're going to probably need 30, maybe 35,000 of startup cash there. That is a bigger bird there, so they're going to have a few more power bills come in on that front end. But good high income farm that would work well, really well on this. There's already 2 dwellings on site there. So that just gives you a few ideas of some farms that we have and kind of what will fit into this program. I'm going to be digging through some others and looking at them. Renasant Bank is working with a 3-house breeder farm in Randolph County right now for us. And we'll have some other stuff we're probably sending to him here pretty soon. So just want to give you an idea of that. Please reach out to me or Robert about this. Daniel Park is very responsive by email and also by phone. So if you have any questions about it, let's get him involved there and see what we can do. I will say that there are some other SBA lenders out there that can do this same 25-year term. We have talked to some of the others. We've just never found one that is aggressive as Daniel is and proactive in getting things done. After he kind of figured out our way of doing things and we figured out his way of doing things, I feel very comfortable with the way they operate. We all know what to expect there. So he's very attentive to what we send his way. So that that makes it worthwhile to do and chase. Some of these lenders we don't have that relationship with and have not been able to build that with them, even though we've tried. And so it's just hard to do business with them. So take a look at this. There'll be some emails coming through. I'll try to summarize some of these farms and down payment amounts we think will work. And of course, always more down payment is okay. Also, keep in mind that interest rate can change. And we may can negotiate that rate down on the front end a little bit. That is something I think they're open to. They don't want to miss a deal, but their front end cost on the money, they've got to be able to make it back. But we may can negotiate some of that down on the front end on the right buyer. The credit's good, cash flow's good, and the appraisal looks good. So you guys keep selling, and let me know if I can help you.